All right. So we got a live stream going. I just want to hop on and break down some ETFs, talk natural gas, talk crude oil, whatever anybody wants to break down. I was just going to kind of dive into a few things. So if you jump into the chat, go ahead and say something so I know you're there. And we'll go from there. Let's give it just a few minutes so people can get caught up here. All right, so we'll give it just a couple seconds, let people come in. Welcome, welcome. It's Jimmy with Taking Trades, and I just wanted to go live and talk about ETFs, anything else that's going on. We can talk about crude oil. I know some people have been interested in /CL, so I thought we could take a look at that if we wanted. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple seconds. I'm going to dive in, start looking at a couple things. If anybody has questions, just throw them in the chat, and we can just see how this goes. So let's pop over to the charts here. And I think I'm just going to take a peek at the Thinkorswim platform. And we'll just see if we can come up with a few different things to take a look at. So let's see here. Let's start off with something everybody knows about. Let's go natural gas. Let's just talk about what's been going on here. Let's actually start with the weekly chart. Let's just take a look at it here. And we'll go weekly, and let's go for max available here. And we'll just see kind of what we've got here. All right, can everybody hear me okay? Everything's okay? Let me see here. I'll put something in the chat real quick. Let me know. All right, there we go. So we got a live chat going. All right, let's just make sure everything looks good. All right, let's just make sure everything looks good. All right, if you can hear me, let me know. Okay. So what we're looking at here is /NG, which is the natural gas fund or natural gas futures. And if I zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see sort of a general, like maybe downward decline over the last, I don't know, 10 or 11 years. But this is kind of consolidation-ish. Weekly chart doesn't seem too valuable on that right now. Take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart's showing maybe a couple levels here and here, but also been sort of in an active downtrend on the daily chart. Let me go ahead and put in some levels here. So you can see that it has been getting rejected off of this 50 simple moving average. It's kind of been hitting it, pulling back down, bumping into it, pulling back down. So something to keep an eye on right now. It's not back up there yet, and it also hasn't broken this low, so not really sure where that's going to go, but let's jump in. Let's go to the 1 minute chart here and just kind of see what it's been doing since since the close, and I'm just checking on the status here to make sure everything's good. If you guys can hear me, let me know in the chat. Just say something in the chat. Let's see. All right. All right, I'm going to flip back over here, and I'm going to come right back here. So drop something in the chat if you guys can hear me, if everything's okay. Yeah, if you can't, yeah, let's see here. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's take a look. So since this morning, we did a recap video you guys can check out from this morning, talking about what was going on today with natural gas and just some levels that you could have maybe taken a peek at. And we were talking about the advantages of, being able to see data from early in the morning. So we were talking about how when you had some information from earlier, you start to be able to put together some levels that are really helpful. There we go. So they kind of help you kind of pave the way for the day. You can get some levels coming in, and I know we had talked about some levels up in here. I had drawn a line, and what's interesting about that is that you can see where this topped a few times and then pulled back down. And in the recap video for today, we were talking about this. But if you extend this out to see what happened the rest of the day, you can see how that overhead resistance line bounced, got breached, and then it came back and actually then acted as support here and here and here and here until it broke back and sold off again around lunchtime today, Mountain Time. So kind of interesting how natural gas is, what it's been doing, and how it's using those support and resistance levels. So something you always want to keep an eye on. And I think since I did the recap video, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to flip over to, let's take a look at /CL. I know people had been asking about this one, so maybe we can just take a quick peek at this and see what it looks like, see what it's been up to. This is the light sweet crude oil futures, and if we go to the daily chart, we can kind of take a look at this, and I'm going to do it for the max time frame here. Julian, hey, you want to see GC? Drop in what, give me the two ETFs on that. Is it JNUG and JDust? Let me know, and I'll we can go to /GC. Definitely. Oh, this looks nice. So Julian, if you can hear me, go ahead and put in which ETFs you want to look at. Nugget and Dust? Okay, we'll do that. All right, here we go. So let's go. First, I just want to look at the weekly. And let's just take a peek at this first, Julian, and see, just sort of see what's going on. We've got some old levels on here. That's funny, from a while back, but you can see how some of these levels I drew a while back are sort of maintaining as some support levels. So that'll be something interesting we can keep an eye on. Let's see. Okay, so it's sort of in a consolidatory pattern and starting to show some signs of maybe a little uptrend here coming off of the 50 and the 200. I'm going to actually clear these drawings out for now so we can get a clear picture. But if we kind of look through there, looking for support levels, this, I'll kind of draw one right in here. And then let's make that a little thicker just so you can kind of see this. Okay, so there's a support level right there. We did have a breach and a breakdown, but it did reclaim it. and it's sort of maintained that. Now, notice that a lot of this activity was below the 200 simple moving average. So on the weekly and daily charts, the 200 simple moving average can be really important for determining whether a stock's moving upward or downward. So you can see on the weekly right in here, we broke back above the 200 simple moving average, this green line, and the 50, pulled up, took a little pullback break, and now we're ripping higher. So this is actually kind of interesting. Let's go to the daily now. So daily, same thing, looking really nice. And you can see this clear bounce here, the reclaiming of the 200, and now we're working higher. And you can notice that we're getting some crossover of the moving averages. So the light blue line is the 20, and it's moving above the 50, so that's a good sign. So let's go ahead and see what it did today. I'm going to bring the 5-minute chart in, and then let's see. So today looks like we had some selling off. Julian, did you trade anything based on this chart today? I'm just curious to know if there was any, if you had taken any trades on this at all. So we got a push down, and from earlier, let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's just kind of look at this a little further back. So at about midnight, so I'm going to kind of draw from here over. So today's action on the 5-minute chart, we kind of got a tap up here, which maybe kind of caused some issues. Let's go to the 1 minute. Let's see. All right, so yeah, sort of just sold off for the afternoon. Let's see what it did early. So one thing, Julian, I'm seeing just sort of roughly right now that I would draw, I'm just going to draw a line here. I'm kind of seeing just some levels that sort of showed up maybe in this area. And I haven't looked at this one in a while, so I'm curious to kind of take a peek. But you can see we got kind of a probe. If I zoomed out and went to like a 15-minute time frame, this would just be a solitary kind of single probe. We did get some touches and some stops here and here. And then we drifted for a while and then came back, and we actually touched again here. So you're starting to see a level develop that we could put in play at a later time. So just marking some of these, I find it helpful to just throw these little circles around those areas just so I can quickly count them and say, wow, look, there's 5 or 6 different points where you're getting some touches. So we got all of those, and then moving into today, early this morning. Yeah, so this morning, Julian, did you see these? Did you see how they were setting up? And then later in the day, if you were looking for a possible trade on it, at 8 o'clock, when it came down here, I'll zoom in a little bit, but when it tapped that line and then you got this bullish engulfing candle that came out, you could have potentially started to look at nugget and dust right in this area. So maybe we can do that real quick, just kind of see what it did. But let's say at, at 8:04, 8:03 in the morning, since this is going long, you want to make sure that you're going with, exactly, Julian, 1406, pretty solid level. So I'm going to flip over to Nugget real quick and look at that 8 o'clock hour and see how that looked. Let's go 8 a.m. So yeah, right in here. So this would have been an interesting play this morning. You had that on the futures for /GC, and then corresponding, you can see, I'm going to draw a circle around it, but right here, you see those 2 candles right there? For me personally, when I see a futures making a move or showing consolidation and then confirmation of an uptrend, I then start looking for signals like these are sitting right on this 50 simple moving average, which is helpful for support, as well as having that solid 1406 level on the /GC futures. But then you're getting this bullish engulfing candle, which is great because that's just giving you further confirmation of everything that we might move to the upside. So once you saw that, and then this next candle opened, maybe trying to get a position around the 2655 area to go long. And then, based on sort of conservative management on this, seeing that this pushed up to here and pulled back, came back up and pulled back, you could probably draw a line somewhere in this area. And if this might have been what I would have done today, was sort of just popped a line in there and use that as sort of maybe a take profit area. So, if you got long around the 2655, let's measure and see maybe what our profit might have been on that. But from here up to that line, a little over 1% on your money. So that would have been a good target for this one. We pushed up. If you'd have held it longer and you could have stomached this big red candle that came in, you could have played this little bounce off here and stuck with it and got a pop above. Wouldn't have been a whole lot more gain above the line you drew, but and then again, if you were, holding for the rest of the day, you would have had even more good fortune as it came all the way up to 27 and a quarter. So that would have been amazing. But if I would have taken it here, I would have probably exited right around here and taken the 1%. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Julian? Does that sound like something you might do? And what's interesting is you can see, we marked this level off just now, taking note of this point and this point. And then you can see as it breaks through, it comes back down, and now it's using it right here. I'll draw a circle on it. But it's using it perfectly as support right there. So once you saw sort of this bounce and this big green candle come out, could have been another opportunity to maybe take a long position here to go north. Awesome, Julian. So yeah, this actually looks really good. I might watch some of this tomorrow. I'm gonna flip back over to the GC. I just love looking at this stuff early in the morning when you're just trying to get things set up. You're just trying to get a plan for the day, and the futures give you so much information because even just this one line, just these 3 touches gave so much information to us, and this was all well before the market was open. So it's pretty amazing being able to have some of that information going forward. But let's come up and be more relevant. Let's get, so as we went through the day, it's sort of just chopping around, moving around, and then ultimately sort of sold off for the rest of the day. If I bring it to the 5-minute, just sort of sold off and went sideways here, had our touches, nice move up. So, as things have kind of slowed down for the day on this, I would say for the morning, and I can go back to the daily and just say, so I guess my thoughts on specifically the daily, I know I like to talk about stuff as it's happening, and I like to talk about levels that are showing up and like trading in the real time, because nobody can make predictions with any kind of accuracy. Typically, it's hard to do that. So to say, I think it's going to do this or that tomorrow. The one thing that I will point out, Julian, or anyone else that's in here, is that I want to talk about this sort of blast off. So we trended up, and then we kind of consolidated and actually moved down sort of from like a flagging formation. And I'm going to draw a couple lines here. I'm going to draw a line maybe right in here. And then let's go ahead and just going to draw sort of these little lines right in here, kind of. But we kind of had this sort of a bull flaggish thing happening on this daily chart. And then you got a break of that pattern, and we moved up, and you can see that this here acted as overhead resistance on this just for a second. Just kissed it, pulled back, came back up again, and then broke through. So I would say for tomorrow, being that today had a pullback, I think it's possible to see more of a pullback tomorrow. This is really overextended. These are really big candles. And one thing I like to do, Julian, is look at this and say, if I look at these candles, these are so much larger than what's normal for /GC. So you're watching like all these little guys come out, a couple big ones here and there, and then rip, 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 these big guys coming in. See how extended it is off this 20 simple moving average? I would just be careful on it because I think it's overextended. I think that the gold futures are possibly going to pull back, retrace a little bit, and then go higher. And I would say, you know, a really nice retracement might be if we get a retracement back down to, I mean, it's going to be a range, so I'm going to draw a big ugly rectangle on here, but I think a range of something in this area right there. So I would look for gold to pull back into this range before I would personally look to go long on Nugget. So tomorrow, if we start getting a good sell-off because of this, the possibility of a good retracement or pullback, you could be looking at dust tomorrow to see what it's going to do. But I would say in the morning, being up early and looking at this stuff, and maybe I'll pop on and go live in the morning or something and try that. I don't know if that'd be something that anybody would have any interest in. You know, we could do a little live, take a few minutes and just look at something early. It'd probably be pretty early for everybody, but it's you know, it's relevant and it's nice because as the candles are coming out, then you can start to really put together a good game plan. Because right now we're just speculating. You know, I'm saying this is overextended. We did have a red candle come in. I think we're going to get some more red candles. But tomorrow, it could rip and go, you know, 40 points higher. You know, I never know. But when I start seeing support and resistance levels come in, then I can say, hey, I'm going to make an educated guess on this, and I'm possibly going to buy off a certain level if I get some confirmation. What's your trading plan for tomorrow, Julian? What time do you typically start watching these? Or anybody else that wants to comment on what time they start. 5:40. Okay, 5:45. Perfect. So yeah, so when you start seeing that in the morning, let's go back to the 1-minute chart. So tomorrow morning, Julian, when you're up taking a look at that and say, like, you know, here's 5:45. So you get up in the morning, you know, give yourself enough time so that you can go back to, you know, I would say on my charts here, the 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning time, and you just start looking at these levels. And I really find it helpful to zoom out. And when you're zoomed out, I even flatten the chart sometimes, like this. I'll just drag it down. And it sometimes helps me see different areas. It makes it less up and down, and it sort of solidifies things. And I can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can start seeing the points where things are hitting. And I start becoming more aware of them that way. So that's a technique you can try for sort of taking a look at those charts. But yeah, in the morning, I look for ceilings, I look for floors, and then from there, I'm watching for confirmation. I'm looking for stuff like this. Stuff like this is fantastic. This pair right here, that is a bullish engulfing candle that's dominating that bearish candle, and it's happening right on a support line. So the probability of this going north for a bit is sort of in your favor. Let's see, what do you think of Shopify? It's sitting at a critical support level and volume was nice today. Let's take a look. Let's go daily chart. This is perfect, Julian. All right, so let's go to ticker shop, right? All right, let's go Shopify. Let's take our max available and let's come back out. Boy, it's nice. Okay, so you can see just looking at this chart right off the bat on the daily, I can see that Shopify likes to hug the 200, and anytime it gets near, or even the 50, when it gets near the 200, it likes to bounce and continue on. It did have some traffic below it, consolidation-wise. Let's see, level is 280. Let's take a look. Oh, I see what you're talking about, Julian. Right. Let's see. Let's get a line in here. So you had a breach and a pullback. I'm just going to draw a couple lines in here real quick. So we got that one there, and then make this little tiny. Got this one up here. 13. I see what you're saying. Okay. So yeah, right around the 280 mark. So we got this nice, we got a breach, that consolidation there, and then a break higher. And then sort of a little pullback here even. Let me, Julian, what do you think about this level right here? So I'm seeing some consolidation where things kind of are setting up right around this 303 area. And the one thing I like about this, Julian, is that we got the break down below and sort of a doji. So I don't know. You could possibly see a move up and then continuation to the downside. Yeah, this consolidation point right here, if you're trading this to the long side, I would just be careful of this line. This might give you a little hang up right here at the 303.75 area. That kind of looks a little interesting. And we did break below the 20 simple moving average today. So could get a bounce and then run into overhead resistance and continue to the downside. I don't know. Or just break out and go higher. Unsure until we see things tomorrow. Let's see. Looking for a long tomorrow. Yeah. So if you're looking for a long tomorrow on that, I would maybe think, yeah, we did get the doji, but this was a big old candle that really sold off. Yeah, I would say watch it tomorrow, and if you are going long, I think you have the right idea. I think this 280 level, I think that's a great place to possibly go long on it. I'm going to flip over to the 5-minute just for a second. And let's just zoom out here. Okay. So yeah, I think, maybe overnight we get a little gap down or just some trickling down. But if it can sort of skip right off that 280, 280.50 area, that might be a really interesting place for your long play. Now, another question for you, Julian, is are you looking to go long for multiple day swing trade, or are you looking for a shorter term trade? Because if you do get this, and say you're taking, random, let's say you take 1,000 shares or whatever, once you get into this area right here, this might be a spot where you want to unload half your position or take some profit or all profit. If you're wanting to hold for days and days, I would take a little off right here until it clears it. And then when it pulls back into it and continues higher, then you can add back as it skips off this level. You're in like a little pocket. And no doubt this is, Shopify is strong, and, if we get a break above that high, which is not unrealistic in the near future, obviously then you're going to be holding something really nice. And then you also got to remember earnings on July 30th. So depending on how long you're wanting to hold this thing, I would just be careful about earnings. Some people like to hold through earnings. Some people get a little uneasy. I can sometimes be a little uneasy about that. And you're Pacific time. Okay. Let's see. So, Danny, why do you have set up? Why do I have my setup as white instead of black background? Um, you know, I had it set as black for quite a while. If you go back and watch some of my older videos, you can kind of see I had black. But for some reason, when I changed it to the lighter screen, it just, I don't know, things just the clarity. It was just personal preference, really. That's about it. But Julian, let me know tomorrow what you do. I want to hear back from you. Okay, I'm going to take a note. I want to hear how that went, and if that was successful for you, that long play on there. Let's see. So Danny, watch the video. Danny Chavez asking me how to draw lines for UGAS and DGAS for support. Check out the video from today where I get into that. I show you where I was drawing lines on natural gas, which then can translate over to UGAS and DGAS. Nike earnings tomorrow in the morning. So let's take a look at Nike real quick and just see. Let's see what we got here. All right, let's go Nike daily, and let's back out just a tiny bit. Yeah, this could be interesting. So 6:27. Okay, after the close. Gotcha. Tomorrow AM hours also. Let's see. So it looks like on the 27th, the earnings conference call at 4 p.m. And Nike's had some interesting stuff here. If I draw a line on this area, you can sort of see. Let me make that flip again. So on that area right there, Julian, you can see you got a touch here, and then we had a whole bunch of other business. But then we got another touch, and then a break with a reclaim, and a break and a reclaim, and then another touch, and then another touch. So this overhead resistance level at 86 is freakishly strong. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with their earnings tomorrow, which could possibly send it up above. So if we break that 86 level, it's going to be looking really nice. The only other thing you'd have to worry about then is you got a little bit of traffic that you got to get through, well, right in that 88 area as well. So if you break 86 tomorrow and you get some confirmation of this being support, you've got a $2 pocket right here. And that $2 pocket could be super profitable. That's a good range movement. If I look at the ATR on Nike, Nike typically moves about $1.70 each day. And so, yeah, with earnings, yeah, it might not even hit that pocket tomorrow. I don't know, but if it does, you've got room right in here. Let's see. The Fourier looks like there is support at 82. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Julian, you got a good eye for this. This is good. Yeah, I see what you're saying. If I sort of sneak a line right in here, looks like I'm kind of getting. Yeah, I feel like at 82.25 is kind of what my eye is drawn to on that support. So you're right about that. If it opens tomorrow and things aren't bad and you get a little bounce here, now you've got 82.25 up to 86. So you've got a good pocket here. So yeah, you could kind of have a game plan together of playing between the pockets. If you're, get something nice here, great. If you don't, wait for something to clear this one and get into this $2 pocket and work there. And that might be a good place to go. Let's see, what else can we look at on? Let's just go real quick on the 5-minute here and just see. So we got that bounce at 82. Yeah, Julian, if you get a bounce off that line tomorrow at that 82 and you get something that's maybe bullish engulfing, like you see this guy here, a really bad zoom right there. yeah, if you get a bounce and you get something like this, or you get something like this that's engulfing, that's going to be a good sort of final go for it mark on that. But I think that's a good idea. I'm going to put this one on my list as well, um, to take a peek at in the morning. See what the pre-market does, see if it's gapping up or gapping down. If people are feeling bullish, the downside is if it gaps up and puts you too far away, you might have to be patient on it and wait for it to come back down to a level. So maybe it'll just kind of hang out and do a whole lot of nothing overnight, and then you can catch this kiss off this support to go long. But great plan. Maybe mostly watching shop. Anybody else have any other questions? This has been great. Popping on and just kind of breaking down a few stocks, few ETFs. What did you guys think of the ETF video today? Was that good? Did it give information? And also the live trading video that I put out today. I'm trying to catch more of my trades live so you guys can see them. I like to show them to you if I have them live. As I learn and when I first started trading, that was really helpful, being able to see people's actual trades while they were happening. So yeah, so Danny, I use brackets. So anytime that I go ahead, I'll even show it to you. So if I open my active trader window here, this is for you, Danny. Take a peek at this. So anytime I'm entering an order, I go ahead and I'll pick, say, some shares, and then I grab a template, and I grab a bracket here. And what I do is I can place my stop loss, like say for example, I want a 20-cent stop loss, and up here maybe I want a 40-cent take profit. So I've got 500 shares with a 20-cent stop and a 40-cent stop limit order to take profit. So it's really nice because I punch that button. I say, okay, I want to buy the break of 82.50. I set my order at 82.51 here on the green long side. And then when it crosses that level, it triggers me in and immediately throws my bracket onto the screen. And the reason that the brackets are so important is because this has actually happened to me. I was trading one time with no bracket, so no take profit, no stop loss, just a mental stop loss, just watching the stock play out. And I completely lost my Wi-Fi network. I literally had no connection to the market, and I had an open position. And so after 5 minutes or so, I was able to get reconnected, and my stock was down way more than I would have wanted it to be. So it's very sketchy. So this way, if I use bracket orders, I don't mind trading from like an old hotel, a random coffee shop, library with weak Wi-Fi. I'll trade anywhere because once my order's in, it doesn't matter what happens, because if it hits my stop, it'll be stopped out. If it hits my take profit, I'll get profit. So it keeps it very stress-free for me trading with brackets. So good question on that. I'm glad you guys like the ETF video. Cool. Good, Danny. That's great. Yeah, I plan to maybe do them daily. I'm trying to get more eyes. I'm trying to push the channel so I can do this with more of my time. I do want to get it to that 1,000 subscriber mark and get a lot of watch time, so that if I can get it monetized, I'd be able to dedicate more time to this. So yeah, I was feeling like adding more content that is good, as long as you guys think it's good, will be a really good thing for the channel, and can maybe help the channel grow at a slightly quicker pace. Yeah, the OCO bracket didn't save me that time because I wasn't using it. That's the reason why I do use them now. Let's see, how much do I trade with? I only have 1,000. When should I start trading? So Danny, if you haven't started trading yet, $1,000. If we do some quick calculations, this is something that's been preached to me, and I'm going to hand it off to you because it's so important. But if you have $1,000 account, if you are trading live right now, I don't know if you are, but if you are, you should never be risking more than $10. You should probably be risking $5 per trade. So you never want to risk more than 1% on any one of your trades ever. Even if you've got a $1 million account, or you have a $1,000 account. And I would recommend, Danny, if you go to the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. I don't know if you're using that now, like I'm using, but if you are, just be in the paper trading. They give you $100,000 of play money, and get yourself set up and just start putting in the work of how to get your orders executed, how to do things accurately, get to know the platform really, really well, and just paper trade. Yeah, good. Just keep paper trading, and remember, stick this in your back pocket. Don't ever risk more than 1%. If you ever do, then that's out of control. It's too much risk, and the account won't last. If you have a $1,000 account and you decide to start risking $100 a trade, you're going to be done by the end of the week. So definitely don't do that, and definitely don't trade any money until you have an idea of sort of how the markets work and what you're up against, because there's a lot going on, and it takes some super dedicated time to start to become profitable with this. I would do that, Danny, but I can't because I'm actually trading at the same time. So yeah, the amount you start with isn't super important. Honestly, starting with less than, I don't want to give specific numbers because it's just my opinion, but starting with anything less than 25,000 is probably not the best way to go. You typically, to be above 25,000 is super helpful. And if you don't have that at this point, that gives you more time to save and more time to learn. It's almost like a good handicap right now, because it's just forcing you just to learn. And, looking back on when I started, it probably would have been helpful if I would have just been learning and paper trading more than I did. I went live on a few things and trying some ideas out, but definitely want to be careful with that, and definitely keep keep things below 1%. Yeah, it's good to talk. Yeah, talking to people like Julian, getting people to, to contribute. Thank you, Julian. That's really kind to offer up some support. Yeah, Danny, keep checking in, keep watching videos. If you have questions, ask them. This is just all good stuff, being able to break stuff down. But just be consuming any content that you can get your hands on online, and just starting to make sense of it. Think for yourself as far as what makes sense to you, because really traders are it's personality. A lot of it is personality based. So some people are really patient, some people are really antsy and don't like to hold trades very long. So I think one thing that new people need to know is that your personality plays a huge role in how you trade and how you should trade, what style you adopt. Once you get comfortable with that, and it's really easier to get comfortable with because it's what you prefer. So, whatever tends to sort of appeal to you now, as you're learning, what style, whether it's scalping or holding for multiple days, or whatever. Just keep in mind that it's okay to trade something and to have it fit what you like. It doesn't have to be what someone else is doing. It can be tailor-made right for you. So keep that. Yes, Thomas Smith. This is really live. Thomas, I think I remember you from months ago. I think did you did you say that you wanted to check in for a live stream? I think you said next time, and I guess this is the next time. It's kind of random, but I've been updating OBS, and had some time and want to dedicate more time to the live part of this channel. So Thomas, welcome. This is definitely live, and if you have questions, throw them out there. Julian, yeah, this is my full-time job now. I've been in transition. I'm a physical therapist. That's what I went to school to do, and worked for over a decade doing that. And so I do on occasion pick up a few hours in the hospital here, but but my full-time gig now is I'm all in on the day trading. So I'm a day trader first and a physical therapist second on occasion. So I don't know if that answers your question. Thank you, Thomas. I'm glad you follow every day. What stocks are you trading? Are you stocks, ETFs? What's your flavor, Thomas? Thanks, Danny. That's kind. I appreciate that. You guys are inspiring. It's such an interesting thing though to talk to people like this because I was in your shoes before. Like everybody starts somewhere, so it's sort of humbling. Nobody's anybody you learn from at one point did not know anything. So that's a great perspective to have. Is you know, not long ago I didn't know anything either. So as a day trader, what was the most challenging things? Um, you know, from what I hear, something that's very challenging is trying to figure out what it is you're going to trade, what style, what technique, what patterns. You don't have to do 8 different things. Just do one thing really well. Get discouraged and throw it away because then you're just moving on to something else and starting over. If you can stick with one thing and keep a spreadsheet of every time you trade that one thing, that one style, whatever it is, record it and see what your statistics end up being, because you only have to be right half the time. If every time you take a trade, if you win 2 units. If you lose only 1 unit because you have your bracket orders. 15-cent stop, 30-cent take profit. That's 2 to 1. As long as you stick with 2 to 1 or 1.5 to 1 or 3 to 1, depending on your personality, you only have to win half the time, and you can day trade full time because you're making money. Thomas, you short small cap penny stocks. Oh, okay. And you buy options on the big boys. You're trying to find your niche as well. That's great. Thomas, this is interesting you bring that up because I just recently, as in like the last 3 weeks, I was living under a rock and didn't know what covered calls are. And so now I am very, very involved with covered calls on positions of stock that I hold. So that's sort of changed the game for me. I want that to be a passive stream of income, so to say, so to speak. Holding a position of stock and writing a covered call on it once a month, and just staying far enough out of the money that I can hopefully keep my shares. I don't know. That's been the plan right now, and I have 3 contracts right now that expire on July 12th on the weeklies. So I am going to see how those turn out and then regroup and move forward from there. So, and if you have any interest or if anyone else is curious about options, I've introduced that a little bit on the channel, and it's been yeah, just a little bit because I don't want to upset everybody or upset the algorithm or whatever. But options are something that I'm learning about. So if you want to hear about that, let me know, and I can mention more of that in my videos. So you own the SPY and put a covered call every 3 days. Oh, you do. Interesting. So you own the SPY. So you own a certain number of shares of the SPY, and you place a covered call every 3 days. That's interesting. So Thomas, they're almost like they're cascading then, huh? So you get to a point where you have an expiration every 3 days, and you just regroup. So you're holding the SPY. Interesting. Thomas, how long have you been holding a position in the SPY? That's super interesting. This chat is amazing, guys. Thank you for jumping in here. This is great. And if anybody else has questions, let me know. We're just kind of chatting, talking stocks. 2 months. Okay. Thomas, here's a question for you. You ever heard of anybody buying, say, 1,000 shares of a $30 stock and then writing a covered call on it once a month for a $1 premium and doing that for 30 months, but keeping the shares, not getting them called away? So after 30 months, the premium has averaged the price of the stock down to where now you paid nothing for the stock. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Anyone else have any questions? Let me know. I'm just taking stuff out of the chat, just sort of throwing anything up on the chart. If you guys have a question, got Starbucks. Roll over your covered call. All right, I'm going to look up what that means, Thomas. Roll over my covered call. I'm going to look that up. Any questions on my trade from today? Danny, so I started experimenting with paper trading on Thinkorswim, and I would say I probably paper traded on really consistent for the first probably 4 or 5, probably 4 months and maybe 5 months. And then I went live with very small size and was just kind of dabbling. And then I went back to paper trading for another couple of months and then came back out and started dabbling. And then I started to niche down and discover that I just needed to do one thing and collect statistics on it. Make a spreadsheet, write down every trade you take, and look for patterns. What's working and what's not. If you find something that works 50% of the time, you're gold. Yes, every trade. I use a bracket order for every trade. Yep. That Wi-Fi thing scared me, and so when I'm day trading, I'm always using a bracket. Starbucks today on the 5-minute. Let's see. I roll over my covered call before expiration expires. Thomas, I don't know what that means, rolling over your covered call. I'm going to have to learn about that. Danny, for my profit to loss ratio, I use 2 to 1. So whatever my stop loss is, say it's 10 cents, I make my take profit at 20 cents. Stop loss is $1, take profit is $2. Yeah, Julian, yeah. I do watch triangles and flags. I think that they're definitely valid. But my specific trading style is, I had to get more niche down than that. That I was seeing flags, different patterns, looking for breakouts and breakdowns, and a lot of times I couldn't control enough variables on them, so one would be different than another. So I had to actually, I got into opening range breakups and opening range breakdowns under key levels and over key levels, and that I was able to pin something in a corner and control it, and that's sort of been where I spend most of my time. Now, I will paper trade or take notes on patterns and flags and different things, wedges, to try to keep learning because I want to add more tools to my tool belt. But right now, I'm not trading any of those, but they're super valid. I know a lot of people that do trade those, and they're really great. Biggest loss, biggest profit, Denny. I'd have to dig that back through my stats. I actually don't know exact numbers on that. But as we discussed, not more than 1%, right? Because any one trade, no more than 1% of your account. So Starbucks today, just want to recap one more time. Today for me, I'm gonna put a level on here real quick. So this morning, 5-minute chart. So this candle here opened today, pushed down, and I took it short right below this opening range, this 5-minute opening range. I took this breakdown for a quick scalp. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate that. It's been quite a journey. It's been, man, it's full-time work, but there hasn't been a morning that I don't hop out of bed and have super excitement to get down to it. It's been a great journey thus far. I appreciate everybody's support, and I wanted to encourage everyone in here. If you guys comment on the channel, I want feedback and information so that the channel can be fit to what you guys are looking for. So I post trades, what I do during the day, but the channel doesn't just have to be that. So that's where the ETFs, and I like to talk about any type of stock related stuff. So I really encourage you to leave comments on every video you watch. That's not obnoxious. It's really helpful, and it just gets other people talking. The more comments in the comment section of each video, the more dialogue we get, and then someone brings something up and it's gold, and I'm like, yes, we'll do a video on that. It's like really informative and helpful when people comment and ask questions. Just lighting up that comment section for me because it helps the video and it gives me ideas for videos because, I mean, seeing me trade is okay, I guess, but you know, if you don't trade the same way I do, you might say, oh, that's kind of interesting, but I'm looking for this. Whatever this is, tell me, and I'll make videos on that too, because I love to talk about like chart patterns and flags and all this stuff. It's all great. I love it all. So yeah, the channel can be whatever we want it to be. Yeah. So on-demand trading, Danny, is great. That's a great function up here, this on-demand. But what you want to do is wait for the market open, pretend like it's a trading day. Do your homework in the morning, get things ready to go, and then sit down in your paper account, and when the market opens, trade live. Yep, trade live in the paper account. You can on-demand, but on-demand is I don't know, sometimes it's finicky and can be a little weird. But definitely be doing that because you can get more volume in, you can get more trades in. But definitely be trading in a live market, you know, as it's playing out and unfolding in your paper account. Paper trading is harder than on demand, I can tell you. Okay, well keep it up, keep it up. You'll get there. It just takes time and just commitment to it. So keep it up. Thomas, I'm glad you're in the room. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad we're doing this live thing. And this is yeah, it's encouraging. You know, as I learn more about the platform and how to go live and how to do these things, you know, I would like to maybe pop on in the morning sometimes and maybe go live and talk about, you know, how things are looking in the morning. So if you guys get to turn on your notifications on the channel, everyone in here, because, you know, say tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., I might just flip on the camera and go live and talk about whatever. So make sure you're aware on the channel notifications so that you don't miss something like that. Cool, Danny. Yeah, turn them on. I don't know if I can go live every morning. It depends on what I have going on, but I can definitely give it a go. I'm new to going live, and so if it's really bad, let me know. But yeah, I'm liking this. Beyond Meat, yeah, geez. Let's take a look at that, Julian. Let's take a peek because this thing has has been a monster. If you want to see a monster, this Beyond Meat is crazy. So let's go. I know it's new. Yeah, so let's go ahead and put this. Gosh, it just doesn't have any information. So this is super. It's just crazy trading stuff like this because you want to start seeing levels, but there's not enough data for levels. So you're starting to watch like these. You're like, okay, is that a level? Is this support now? So we got a break, a pullback, another break, a pullback, and then I have no idea on this one, Julian. I have no idea. I need more data. All I know is it's really spready and really whippy in the mornings. I've been watching it a few times. Now, if you just hop in and hold your breath and go, here we go, you might get a $20 rip. You know, I don't recommend that, but this thing has just been crazy. And then the fact that it's gapping up, you know, like leapfrogging to the top, it's just been crazy. But be careful because usually these that get really pumped and excited tend to deflate and collapse back. I mean, this is an insane. I mean, yeah, it's insane. So I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to stay away from it. But yeah, good luck with that. Let's see. Looks like I found a bottom yesterday. Yeah, it could have. It could have found. You know, this bounce point could be significant. I would wait for it to come back to that point to go long, but I'd have to look at it a little closer. Let's see what's Danny saying. Go live every morning and show us eating McDonald's deluxe with coffee. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go get McDonald's every morning and I'll go live and we can do it that way. But you all have to get it too. We all eat McDonald's together in here. All right. Well, Thomas, I'm going to look up some information on what you brought up. That's super interesting about rolling over. And thank you for riding along, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is great. I really enjoy all of it, and let's do that. I'm going to make a commitment to more live stuff. Okay. I can't necessarily say when or where, but anytime I go live, I'll give you some time to to get on the channel and get that notification, and then we'll just hash it out for a while. I never know, you know, maybe it's only 20 minutes, maybe it's 3 hours. I don't know, depending on what's happening. But I think I'm going to jump off now. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, and yeah, have a good trading plan in the morning. Be smart. Don't risk more than 1%. Julian, good luck. Let me know how things go on those support levels that we found. And definitely tune in to videos tomorrow. I'll put out my trading video. I'm going to try and capture it live again. I thought that was cool. And then I'm going to try and get out an ETF video on something that I find interesting. But comment in the video and let me know what you want to see, and I'll use that for ideas for videos. Where will natural gas go tomorrow? Up or down after the report? I don't know, Danny. We'll watch the report. Definitely don't be in a position when the report comes out. Yeah, I do want to know how you did. Yeah, don't be in a position when the report comes out. Wait till that's over, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Always comment. Let's see. I think you just get annoyed me. No, I love the comments, Danny. Never get annoyed. Comment all the time. Let me know. The more interaction we have, the more we can kind of get things figured out and make the channel better. So everybody have a great night and have a good plan in the morning. Thomas, I'm going to do my homework tonight on options, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right? Have a great night, everybody.